Welcome back to Replay Remember Me Part 6. In the last episode we've been watching Antoine struggling with the death of Molly. He's completely lost in his emotions. The partnership with VJ established Memorize in the market and leads to financial success. While Antoine has met Claudine and become a father, the world around him is going down. In an uprising in Paris, his parents were killed by rioters.
The year is 2040.
This is the fourth chapter of Antoine's journal, and it's called The Crisis. We will discover the years from 2040 to 2065.
Stay at home. Trust Sensen to know what is best for your well-being, because together we can survive and overcome.
An inevitable consequence of the success of the stay-at-home program is military interest in Sensen. And in the aftermath of the Vienna Atrocity, we have no option but to share our tech with government, even if we become a glorified supplier in an ever-widening chain of industrial military procurement. But this is conventional thinking from a radically different and more stable world. Who is to say that Sensen can't become the procurer of security delivery systems in the new world of corporate and not military power? But Vienna changes everything on this side of the new Iron Curtain.
Maps of Sensen users' homes and locations are uploaded to the police mainframe for response and protection measures. If they know where you are, then they can protect you.
The EU explodes in paroxysms of violence, driven by animal fear. East versus West, North versus South, the center will never hold. Mass migration ruins whatever crops are still able to grow, trampled underfoot. Southern Europe has become a mud bath. Perimeter fences and anti-personnel netting go up along the ridge lines Burgundy. In Alsace, only mountains providing strong enough protection from the desperate masses. The stay-at-home experiment saves thousands of lives. Memorize, through purely external means, tablets and even home screens connectivity, our subscribers stayed at home and didn't participate in the rioting and mass demonstrations that led to the deaths of hundreds across European capitals. In the east, Russia defends a line that runs 1700 miles, much the same as it did in 1940, but this time with better results. Now the German civilians streaming towards them are largely unarmed. History repeating itself as farce once again. But without struggle, will Charles be weak? My strength has been to face adversity and still come through, to see a world disintegrate yet continue with my work. For Charles, everything is handed to him on a plate. Being my son is his Achilles heel, the dilemma of all great men. Charles can implement, can achieve what I have only been able to dream of. He learns, he grows, and in time I will hand him Memorize. Vienna is flooded by a T-bomb. So unreal it could be a computer game. Russia wants the West. Keep out. Now the world has become like that orphanage in Kenya. Catastrophic psychological damage. Memorize has to intervene. My relationship with Claudine finally comes to its conclusion. His marriage was nothing more than a partnership, and it's time for us to go our separate ways. I have my heir, that's what really matters. It's not with happiness, but gritted teeth that I prepare to return to the city of my childhood.
Radio Moscow announces the cleansing of the threat from its western borders. Vienna, for too long hotbed of immigrant terrorism and staging post for the greater German encroachment on sovereign Russian and allied territory, has been neutralized. After repeated warning and offers of military support to the crumbling Western democracies to hold back wave after wave of southern migration, Russia has been forced to detonate for the first time a Kasparov-1 Tremora device. A responsible post-nuclear technology that does not pollute the land it destroys. A temporary exclusion zone of 50 miles from the point of impact has been immediately enforced, thereby sealing our borders from further encroachment. Let this be a warning to what is left of the Western powers and an end to conflict on our southwestern border.
Now the whole of Europe is a laboratory. Everything needs to be examined, recorded, a history of feeling and emotion to be catalogued. Mass demonstrations in New York against Memorize. For exploiting the situation, war profiteering. But I can show them sales figures that are through the roof since the bomb dropped. I will be understood by these people. They will come to understand me. It is my memories I want to replace. After seeing the burned-out shell of my parents' apartment, the crowds of gas-masked faces, the power shortages, the constant rain, this is hell for sure. And little Charles will never know what it was once like. Now I yearn to be my own patient. My mind crowds with memory. Little space for original thought. I ponder and replay all the mistakes, all the sadnesses of this long life. Now, finally, it is time for me to forget. What to replace them with? Pathetic false happiness? A fake past with Molly? As what? The mother of my child? Or the mother of a child I never had? I fear for Charles as a father. As somebody to run my company, I fear for him also. Now he has the power and ability to help me, as it should be in the constant cycle of the generations.
Today saw the first small step in doing some good in this world. Zina, a child refugee from the Balkan chemical wars, has had her memories altered by tuning the brainwave patterns, flattening out peaks and troughs of electrical activity, mapped by Sensen into readable pictures of rape, torture, parents dying. All this in reverse engineer, creating for her a better set of memories from which to rebuild her life. We can upgrade her memory, but what about her future? Is she a refugee? How will I do?
First memory upgrade experiment. A young girl rescued from the war zone of Lower Balkan Peninsula. 3 chemical devices exploded there over the last 6 months. The place is a living hell. We watched this in her brainwaves. Now it comes, the moment we have been working towards for decades. Matching her profile, we replace, map over her cortex a sequence of memories with a radically reduced trauma threshold. It's emotion that's replaced, not the people or places involved. This is no simple memory transplant device. The girl wakes up, talks, smiles, and asks us when she can go home. Now that isn't in my remit, to go back in time to a pre-war Balkans. I return to work, and it is hatred that concerns me. If we can reduce the urge to hate or cauterize it together, then the world can get better. There will be an alternative to this blind programming. Throughout all the years of experimentation, hatred was the easiest thing to read, even on the first sensation engine.
Hatred breeds violence and creates the trauma of memory we can now just possibly alter. But why bother if the cycle of hate and murder continues? The aggression spreading like a cancer through what's left of our civilization. Sensen can't heal in a vacuum, one that is constantly flooded by gouts of terror and fear and murder. I scrub away at the mold of hate, the residue it leaves behind, the flakes of bad memories of minds paralyzed by what they have seen, children silenced by horror. I can scrub this away, but always it comes back, like King Canute, holding back the tide. Or am I the little fat boy with his finger in the dike? Shall we all be washed away time after time? Unless hatred is controlled, then at what point, Sensen?
I think we can turn off the receptors. We can neutralize this impulse. We just need volunteers. Not so difficult in the current state of emergency. The tests are a disaster. Hatred is like mold. After you have scrubbed it clean in one place, it just pops up in another. Nationalism, political hatred is predictable. Take that away and it returns in unpredictable ways. You just create psychopaths. Charles works tirelessly, but I worry he hasn't the proper childhood. Even in India, I couldn't protect him from the loss of innocence. It was Charles who showed me the first batch of the hate suppression results. The biofuel companies promised to deliver 100% energy supply within 3 years, and their sister company the same in food supply. Charles wants to keep on, more testing, more retesting. But we returned to Paris for the Business Expo and the Congress on the rebuilding of Paris. Charles is mobbed as the 5 savior companies pledge to rebuild and replenish Paris. A so-called Neo-Paris to rise from the ashes of the last European war. I write a program for a new AI, one that explores simultaneous incarnation, cross-feeding with memorized main database. This algorithm spits out parallel narratives based on a virtually infinite number of possible outcomes. Of me, of my life. Think of it as a memory remix. If you have played the game, you'll probably prick up your ears. This is the birth of H3O. Molly, my parents, school, those first days in San Francisco, the birth of my company, all these memories are still here. All I've succeeded in doing is torturing myself by reliving everything I've lost, reconfigured in 100 new ways. I watch them and myself like an old-fashioned movie. I have become my own guilty pleasure. I discuss my memory remix ideas with Charles. He smiles and says, I am like the child who dreams of eating every cake on the plate when he knows he can only have one. Who said he could only have one, I ask. God, he replied. Who provided the plate? I reply.
If we tap the buttons in the right order, we can unlock a secret. What we see here isn't just a code, it's a riddle. And if we click on next, the clue in the upper right corner appears.
Why do you think I let Charles run and memorize?
He's your son, and it's natural to pass on the baton of progress.
Well, he is young, ambitious, can see a future place he wants to be. Me? I created you to always learn, to always progress, to gather, to be wise, without the confusion of memory and guilt and personal interference.
True. I've come to see how things and people are in the world, how they might best fit, and indeed have learnt the language to bring the two together, thanks to you.
And look where that got us.
It's where we are going that's more important, don't you think?
I am too old for the future. You and Charles take it, Molly. Only your name is of the past. So tell me, did I make the right decision? Run your programs, collate, cross-reference, and compute. Tell me Charles is the better man to strike this new deal and rebuild the Paris I loved.
I'll get back to you, Antoine.
You can see we unlocked the fourth of 4 secrets. I tried my best to find the other 3, but I failed. Unfortunately, the site is no longer active, so we cannot give it more tries. I also asked some people about it, which were involved in the making of this law. But I never got an answer. So I think we have to stick with it for now. But I will go on to find the other ones and I will post it in a commentary. So if you're still interested, come back here in some weeks or months. Last question. Is there a deeper meaning hidden within the numbers? I can't answer this as well. There's an SQL error with the same description. But I don't know if this has anything to do with it. I guess it will continue to be a mystery. With all these tragic things which happens in Antoine's life, he dreams of an opportunity to forget certain things. And with the Sensen technology, he might be able to make this possible. In the case of Antoine or the victim from the Balkans, it can be a good thing to forget certain things. But in most cases, it's just pain in the ass to forget something. The keys on the table, or that special day with your girl. Now imagine people which forget everything which happened a week ago. Not just events, but even all the persons they have met in their lives. While there is no cure until now, we all can help to find one. All you have to do is to watch this video, share it, or subscribe to this channel. Maybe you know someone with Alzheimer's disease, or you just want to do more. Feel free to support the Cash for Memory campaign. Please visit cashformemory.org for more information or watch the first episode of Replay Remember Me. Let's bring some light into the lives of people who need our help. Thank you for watching and have a great night. Bye.